Welcome back to Ferocious Education, this is Ed. Today, we're going to be talking about Xela technologies. In this video, we're going to go mainly towards technical analysis and due diligence, and then followed by what I think about this stock. So without further ado, let's jump right into this one. So Xela Technologies, we talked about them before. My last video is in the description below. Now the last piece of news we have was on the August 12th part, which was basically them being named as hot vendor by Argon Research. Now in relation towards the latest investments highlight, they are a leader in business process management solutions globally, large market opportunity with TAM of over $207 billion in business process management solutions, along with a significant incremental growth opportunity in the SMB markets. Also, Exela has a deep and wide moat with numerous patents and extensive investments in technology poised to further expand automation. Automation is led by neural networks, intelligent documents, data processing, and expanded cloud usage. They're also experienced in management with decades of industry experience, and they also have a proven track record with long-tenured blue-chip customers and a global footprint. There's more than 30 years of experience in business process automation, and more than 4,000 global customers across 14 industries verticals, and more than 60 Fortune 100 partners with Exela. That covers more than 50 countries, more than 140 delivery centers, and more than 1,100 facilities management, and around 2,000 and more IT professionals and more than 18,000 employees. So this gives you kind of an idea in mind with five major companies where their operations are mainly taking place, including in the United States, which serves more than 200 million insured and top 5 health payers, and Germany, which has a population of 83 million, and they're enabling around 63 million customers online banking. In the UK, population has 100% of all check e-payments and archival processed by Xela Technologies, and Sweden, which is around a population of 10 million, around 7 million of those individuals, Xela works as a sole processor of all bank gyros there, and more than 500,000 companies. And Ireland, which has a population of around 5 million, Xela processes 85% of all check payments. So this is kind of a little bit of a revision of what we went through before. There's also other pieces of news and institutional buyers and technical analysis we're going to get to in a second. But before doing so, if you'd like to see more contents like this, make sure to click the subscribe button on the bottom right corner and leave notifications on. Also, don't forget to drop a like to this video, and you can join our Discord in the description below. Now, in relations towards the balance sheets in the SEC filings, you're able to see that they have around $1 billion in total assets. Their total liabilities, however, is around $2 billion. So there really are 1 to 2 in terms of assets to debt. Their current market cap is around $152 million. So you're able to see that their total assets are much more than their market cap, but they still have a large amount of liabilities that they probably would need to address. Now, one of the fastest ways companies do go ahead and tackle that long-term debt, which is around $1.5 billion, is through market offerings. So that could be a possibility where this company just goes ahead and releases much more shares than currently in the float just to reach that billion-dollar market cap and raise a lot of money through that to pay off the long-term debt, or at least a majority of that. So that's always a massive risk. So you get to see that the accumulated deficit is sitting somewhere around $1.5 billion, and the total stockholder deficit is around $940 million. So that's quite significant on its own. Now, revenue has seen a bit of a decline previously, around 2.3% from Q1 2021, and the healthcare solutions revenue increased by 10%, and loss prevention services revenue grew by 14% from the previous quarter. Gross profits are currently at a margin of 28.6%. That is around 720 basis point increase from Q2 2020 and 620 basis points from Q1 2021. And the operating income is looking at $25.4 million, which is really good compared with an operating loss of $5.1 million last year in Q2 2020. Their total EBITDA and adjusted EBITDA are positive. Currently, the EBITDA is looking at 44.9 million, an increase of 133% from 19.3 million in quarter 2 2020, and adjusted EBITDA is at $50.9 million, an increase of 18%. That is from $43.1 million in quarter 2 2020. The major impact and the major thing that we want to talk about is that major debt and how they're going to go ahead and pay that off. Now, the major debt itself is long-term, but a lot of these companies still have a certain date in mind, and we do go ahead in the presentation and we see some of that information. I did go over it before, relating towards the maturity of these debts, and they still have some time towards the maturity. I believe it even goes all the way down to 2032 and some of these maturing. They did mention it in the presentation, but the biggest question is, how are they going ahead and paying that long-term debt? Now, in this kind of information, it's not there, but if you go back towards my presentations, you will see me discussing about that. And honestly, it is a little bit of a fear in terms of releasing some kind of offering to tackle that debt. And that's the biggest question relating towards that. They are talking about strong financial flexibility with liquidity enabled by $224 million in gross proceeds from recent equity offering, yielding over 140 million reduction in net debt. But still, the debt is quite massive and needs some kind of either offering or perhaps some kind, well, I think offering or financing or buyout that would go ahead and reduce that amount of debt. And hopefully we're able to see some more information about how they're going to tackle that in the future. In terms of institutional buyers remain somewhat mixed. Morgan Stanley took a position on this one on the 16th, around 200,000 shares, and Davidson Kemper Capital Management around 1.65 million shares on the 16th as well. And before doing so and moving on towards technical analysis, again, make sure to subscribe and let's move on towards technical analysis. Now, from a technical analysis standpoint of view, what we're able to see here is that the 10 SMA is above the 30 EMA, which is bullish, but the price point is below the 50 simple moving day average, which is bearish. So below the 247, technically it's bearish on the moving averages. Above that, it's bullish. Now, in terms of the 80x, you're seeing a retraction, which looks like a negative trend to start with, and the William percent R, which is very similar to the Relative Strength Index, also known as RSI, shows a highly oversold stock, meaning that there are a lot more sellers than buyers for this stock. And that's what's driving the stock price down, including short sellers and long-term investing sellers and trading selling. Now, in terms of momentum, it looks like it's negative, or to be specific, negative 0.98. And so it's departing away from the zero, taking a look into a negative momentum. Both stochastic fast and stochastic slow are suggesting there might be a day or two before this one starts seeing stabilization. My bet, if I have to put one, it would be Monday or Tuesday. Now, in terms of the moving average bands and the Bollinger bands, this is out the moving average bands between the 302 and the 247, and the Bollinger bands are between 335 or 334 and 214. So it is an anticipation that it might hit the 214, but as you get to see, the Bollinger band are expanding outwards and the volumes are drying up, even though there's more selling. So it really needs a good PR to push this one up, and I really anticipate that any kind of positive PR can really change that, as there's almost no volume to trade onto this one to start with. In terms of the Fibonacci retracements, and the reason why I'm referring to this one today is because significant institutional buyers activity happens on these levels. So the current resistance is at 279, above there 375, above there 453, 530, 641, and 782. The support is at 123. In terms of a price line action, you're able to see that there is a critical support at the 219. Below there, that might be a bit in trouble. 185 below there, 168, 150, going down to 128 and 123. In terms of a resistance point, you're able to see that 250 seems to be a resistance point, and then 269, going upwards to 285, and then up to 313, 338, and then from there on 381, then going up to 406. From 406, it's the 509 level, and then closer to the 550, and then to the 607. Coming into the question to what I think about this one. First off, highlighting the only analyst coverage that is there 10 days ago. That was a $5 price target reiterated by Cantor, Fitzgerald, and this person's success rate is 29% with an average return of -7% a year. And so the current aspect relating towards this one is there could be a possibility for another jump similar to this one or this one. But below that 212 level, 219 level, that's where you're just going to start seeing a bit of a support pushing upwards, and you get to see the candles are decreasing as you go downwards, and it is really almost a ticking bomb relating towards news. If we were to get some bullish news, any kind of news honestly at this point that is not negative, you will probably start seeing some kind of pulse towards this one. And the reason is the previous kind of PR's history is not as significant as we hope so, but with every PR they put out that is bullish, it definitely does see a massive push. And I do anticipate some people already mentioning down in the comments below, well, yeah, bullish news means stocks goes up. But with this one here, it's almost like a slingshot. It's being pushed downwards, and in any given sign of hope, this one can see more buyers coming in. So currently, the stock market is sliding a little bit downwards, so this kind of move is not really basically special towards this stock, but a lot of stocks in the same field are also seeing this drop. What do you think about the sticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day. Now, if you're still here on this video, make sure to drop down below and join our Discord. We have a lot of different things going on, including, for instance, members that gives picks for free. It's not pump and dumps, we just things we think about, swings, etc. We also have really exciting bots. You can actually use those ones. For instance, we're just testing out this bot, for instance, that gives you Fibonacci resistance points, activities, etc. And we have a bunch of free things, totally free. We run on tips here, and you can ask me questions, suggest stocks, etc. It's a really nice community that has been growing up very fast at a very good rate, and it's totally free. If you would like to join that one, feel free to do so in the description below, and have a wonderful day.